So here we go. We just finished the audio podcast 30-minute conversation, which is awesome. Go check that out. That'll be out tomorrow morning for those that are watching live on Twitter right now. If you're watching on YouTube, by the time this is out on there, it will have already been out. So go check out the interview with Nasim Nunez, shortstop prospect with the Miami Marlins, and for my money, the best defensive shortstop in the minor leagues. So we're going to break it down. Nas, thanks for hanging out for an extra 10 minutes. And it's always easier to convince someone to hang out when I'm just showing some of their best highlights from the season. And you don't remember all of them. So we're going to try to jog your memory here with some of these, man. So here's the first one. Camera work's a little shaky, but
yeah, that's the best quality I've seen though.
Can you talk about that pick? I mean, the what, and also the throw. You talked about it. You talked about it on the podcast about how, like, you know, having a glove in your hand your whole life, fundamentals is kind of how you learn how to play the position. That's what you attribute some of it to. But then there's just the points in which you just kind of black out and just it comes natural. This has to be the latter, right? Like, there's no practicing this throw. Like, what is that? Look at your body right there. So can you talk about, like, just when you improvise like this, like, when did you realize that you could start to improvise and make silly plays like this?
Maybe when I was younger, you know, but something like that, that's something I haven't even thought about doing. I just really try to stay on top of the ball, and as long as I can see, like, as long as I got my eyes locked in on something, it's like a heat-seeking missile. I remember telling my parents and my grandparents about that play. I told them it was like Road to the Show when it's that slow-mo, that show-mo. It was literally show-mo. Like, I put on everything. It was show-mo. Like, how you go in slow motion like that, that's how it felt to me.
It slowed down for you? It just slows down for you.
I watched that backhand. I watched it. And then when I knew I had it, the next thing I had to do was find Devers. And when I found Devers, I was like, I got him. Like, now I could throw the ball. And that was just my body doing whatever it could possibly do to get the ball to Devers.
I love that.
Whatever.
So that's one that's harder to break down because you legitimately, it was like fight or flight, whatever you could do to get the ball
like
over
that,
there.
If you could pause it, like on that last second, like right before I throw the ball, like you could see my head as soon, like a little bit more back, like look, like back when I look. They probably didn't get it, but my head was the first thing. So when my head went to the side, I couldn't see Devers no more.
You just threw it.
Yeah, because I already like saw him. So now I know where he is. Now I just rely on the instincts and let it get there.
That's ridiculous. All right, we got another.
Have to see him though.
The pitch. Swing and a chopper left side. In the hole, it's Nunez. He gloves, throws to
that's
first.
Ridiculous.
So you broke this. You talked about on the podcast kind of when you realized you had a crazy arm. But
the pitch.
The thing that kind of floors me the most with this, right, is, I mean, that's just a seeing eye single for most shortstops. But not only can you get to it, I know you can get to that, right? Like what I don't think people realize is how hard that throw is. How do you get that kind of throw off when you're going full speed opposite direction? I know arm strength, but like, is there something that you're doing with your lower half, with turning your body? Like, are you leveraging something? How do you get that kind of throw off? Or is it just simply, I can just do that with my arm?
I practiced it. I'm not going to lie. I practiced that throw.
Like, it looks, what did you practice? Just continue, just backhand and throw it like that?
I always, whenever I throw, like when me and my brother toss or me and Messa will throw, whenever the throw takes me to my right, I always practice throwing on the run, like without my feet under me, because I know I'm going to have to make those plays as a shortstop. So I practice throw on the runs. Like if a ball is thrown to my glove side, I practice throwing on the run instead of setting my feet, because I can easily make a throw. We practice that so much. Like we can make those throws when our feet's under us. Like that's the best time. But what about those?
Yeah.
Like that, you need those. Like you got to get the routine, but you got to have that too.
That little jump before, that, like, you know, where you're almost throwing right into like a one leg jump. is that something that kind of helps you slow your momentum? Like, is
that I have no clue.
No clue, that just happens.
No clue. Yeah, it's just like I said, when I see it, my body does the rest. So I have to see it first. And that even comes with hitting.
Something that scouts really give you a lot of credit for is the instincts, right? Or like you somehow are where you need to be when you need to be almost always. How much of that is just putting yourself in positions to make the plays? Because like this was one too where, I've seen you go back and take a long hop and know that your arm is strong enough to get the guy out by a half step. Or I've also seen you like on this play, that you got to try to get two. So instead of getting it on a long hop, kind of come get it on a short hop. And then how do you know that you have enough time basically while picking this to go to second, beat him there and get this throw off?
It's kind of first instinct. Like I know the speed of the ball, the speed of the runner, and the direction of the ball. So when I know all that, everything else is set in stone because that ball wasn't hit too soft to where I have to go backwards to get the bag to step on the bag. It's literally all my momentum is coming forward.
Yeah.
So I'm having the advantage. Now all I gotta do is pick it and keep coming as I'm catching the ball, step on the base, and then like I practice throwing on the run.
Throw on the run.
Throw a strike. They all come together.
In a single appearance.
I got another one for you. You were not that impressed by this one. You said this was kind of whatever.
Yeah, because on that one, I believe I could have read the runner a little bit more, but I didn't know Ethan's speed as much. I'm pretty sure that's Ethan. I think Ethan's a little bit of a slower one. So if you go back a little bit, I think I could have did this better.
Like, do you think you could have like kind of pivoted your hips and not had to spin, or?
No, honestly, I couldn't have done that play any better.
You could have just set your feet a little bit, or no, too much momentum going that way.
I couldn't have done that play any better. It just looked funny to me, but there's no way I could have done that play any better. Because if I would have let that ball come back a little bit more, I would have had a middle hop. Like I caught that ball as it was
on a
about
long
to
hop,
hit the
right?
as it was about to hit the ground.
Yeah.
There's no way my momentum would have done that. So I couldn't have done that play any better. Maybe could have made a better throw, but that's a hard throw.
That's a hard throw. Also, Chu was making some picks and some nice stretches I was watching in some of the videos too.
Chu, that's my dog. That's my dog.
So the one thing I kind of wanted to ask you about too is, and I think there's another one that might lead into it. If this one doesn't, then I'll ask you about it. But your ability to read the hops, that's something that like putting yourself in position to make the play easier is pretty impressive too. Like, did that just come with reps and reps and reps? And did the hops start to read a little bit differently as you got to AA or against guys that maybe hit the ball a little bit harder? Guys hit the ball hard everywhere now, but did balls start coming off the bat a little bit differently once you got to AA? Did you feel any more challenges in reading hops?
Nah, I believe it's the same. The game doesn't change. A ground ball is a ground ball. And a ground ball that stays down is a ground ball that stays down. A ground ball that hops is a ground ball that hops. No matter how hard it's hit, if you know when that ball's supposed to hit the ground, like you trust your instincts and you see that. And like my mentor told me, stay low and use your feet to get the hop. I had trouble. I don't like to think about my feet because I don't like thinking about body parts. I just let my body do what my body does because when I try to control my body, it's not natural. So for me, the replacement for my feet was counting hops. So in practice, when my feet don't feel good, I count hops. And I try to catch the ball on a hop or its last hop.
So sometimes you got to just react. This one, it's just you're not counting hops. You're reacting here, right?
Let me see that from the bat. Let's see. I think I was one hop and a skip.
That's where it gets tough. But also,
that's not a routine play.
How do you know when to like try and slide versus trying to get it on a backhand into a jump throw? Like, what made you leave your feet here to slide rather than a backhand into a jump throw?
Because I know I needed to get my weight back to the left side of the field regardless. So that ball's hit pretty hard. So if I get that, more chance for error. Like sliding was the best way to stop my body, like to stop my momentum to make that throw. That was a hard throw. That was another one
that's what
where
stood
I
out the most.
peaked. If you watch my head too, you can see I look before I even decide to throw, and then at that point, it's no more looking. I just got to peek it. So that look and throw.
And somehow, I mean, this freeze frame, your body is facing the other way, and somehow the ball is going this way. Again, that's where the natural athleticism comes in.
Yeah.
I got one more for you because I know this is one of your boys. You said before we were recording, Greg Jones, who absolutely flies.
His 5th inning of work.
And you get him out here, you rob him. This one.
Oh, you brought that play. That wasn't even a play I was talking about.
Oh, you robbed Greg twice?
Yeah,
so this
I robbed Greg my first series.
I love this one because we talk about reading the ball here. You got to decide whether you're going to try and catch this on a fly or pick it. And then I know you know how fast Greg Jones is because you waste no time here. Like how I just want you to kind of break this down because it is such a tough in-between hop. Top spin too.
Yeah, you see the spin, so you know you could smother that one. Like if that was hit like a low liner, I would come through that ball. But that one was going down, so I need to kind of go back with it to soften the ball.
How quickly can you tell the spin? Like, how did you know that was top spun? Like
about
right now?
Yeah, about right there because you could see the ball starting to go down.
So looking at you right now, you're planted. At that point, you almost drop step that right leg, knowing that you're going to get it on a backhand, right?
Yeah.
Is that kind of what? Like I'm seeing you kind of shift back here.
My weight.
Yeah, like that's amazing to me that you can make that read and that decision that quick. That's something that like did that just come with the reps, or is that something you felt like you've always kind of had those instincts?
It comes with reps. I practice that. Instincts, like I said, I want to be at a point where I do all my homework, do what I have to do mentally, and then allow my instincts to trust me, and I trust my instincts.
100%. Well, I mean, dude, I'm glad I got to break these down with you, man. Thanks for hanging out.
So you haven't seen the other play where I robbed Greg?
No. Do I need to tweet that one out after?
I think I'm gonna have to send you that one.
Send me that one. I need that. I'll put it up on Twitter.
I think that was gonna freak you out.
All right, I need to see that one. Maybe I have seen it. I don't know why I didn't pull it. Send that to me, and I'll put it up on Twitter when we plug the episode tomorrow. I'll say this was the specific play that Naz needed to highlight.
Yeah, that was my favorite play.
I mean, dude, I'll mention my buddy Griffin.
My bad, Greg. It's all love, brother.
Hey, it's one thing to rob a guy who hits the ball hard, which he does. A guy that can move too is even harder. Griffin Conine told me that you in a month in AA made 5 plays he's never seen before. And I think that's why I might have missed the Greg Jones play because I didn't have to go back very far to find a bunch of nasty plays and kind of was flying through and just picking some of the favorites. So send that one over, and maybe next time we break down some of your plays, it'll be, you robbing hits from big leaguers pretty soon. So I appreciate the time, man. Thanks for doing this double interview here, and really, really excited to see what you're going to do this upcoming season. Best of luck, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.